gone wrong between the US and one of Africa's most respected intellectuals? Is this about politics, policy, or principle? Now, in Anambra State, tension first with the brouhaha, I'm sure Wole Soyinka would call it that, happening between himself and the United States. We are going to watch a video where Wole Soyinka was addressing this particular issue as regards the whole ban, and he was coming out to explain that he was not the only Nigerian that was affected by this. And you know, there are some people that think this must have been a mix-up, because they say that the reason that the United States Embassy stated where your visa can be revoked is on the basis that you have criminal records or you have misbehaved, and there's just misbehavior, general misbehavior in the past in your track records, and that is the basis for this. But anyways, let's hear from you, Mr. Ugochukwu. What do you think this is about?
Well, so the US, it's not recent to us that the US, they are strengthening their visa policies. I think sometime in July, their immigration policies too, and not just their visa. But then I think there is a deeper question that for someone of Soyinka's stature, we need to question how well, because Mr. Soyinka is a Nobel laureate. He is a literal giant. So he does not have any past criminal record in the US or even here in Nigeria. So I think the US and the immigration and everything, they need to strengthen their policies and make sure they don't make such mistakes. Because Mr. Soyinka is someone who has represented not just Nigeria, but Africa very well in the literary stage. Yes,
you're right. Professor Soyinka has really represented not just Nigeria, but Africa globally. And to have such, you know, it sounds funny, to be honest, but this is what we see. And there are still a lot of speculations as regards what exactly is going on. Because when you watch that video, Wole Soyinka came out to say that he's not the only Nigerian that has been affected, and you're talking about fixing and strengthening their policies. Recently, we've seen the US, we've seen the UK changing, just tweaking little things to their foreign policies here and there, and I'm just saying, well, what is this? It's not sudden, but we're having a whole lot of changes internationally as regards immigration, and I'm just asking, do you think that Nigeria is, will I say, lagging behind, and maybe this sort of immigration backlash that they're having will make them sit up with just generally in the global front? What do you think of that?
You know, Nigeria is a sovereign state. I feel it should not feel oppressed because of the visa or immigration policies by other sovereign countries. I feel what it should do on its own as a sovereign state country is on their own part to strengthen their own visas, releasing strong policies to all those other countries that are also impacting stringent and strong policies to Nigerians. So for the US, they also make policies that affect them as it affects us here in Nigeria. So I don't think they should just sit down and
accept what they are dished.
Exactly.
But you know, when you're having this type of back and forth, and I understand what you're saying, that they can't fight back because truly we are a sovereign state. But when you look at it holistically, these are nations, we are a developing nation, right? And these are nations that are way ahead of Nigeria.
That's correct.
Yeah, so I'm asking, with everything that Nigeria has to lose and benefit if they fight back, do you think it's still a wise decision for them to do so?
No, I'm not necessarily saying they should fight back. But what I'm saying, they should not feel small. They should not look less of themselves or think less of themselves. They can. We have the foreign ministers. They can sit on a table and discuss these things, and so that they can make policies that are favorable to Nigerians.
Yeah, you're right. I think they can have that discussion. But with what just happened to Wole Soyinka now, do you think that this is going to affect other Nigerian academics, home and abroad?
Yes, because when a prominent intellectual like Soyinka, when his visa is revoked, I think there is a deeper question here. How much does it affect other intellects in Nigeria and Africa? It does not just end at him. So I think the government should step in. The government should step in and try to work with these countries so that the policies they make will not be harsh to Nigeria but favorable to them. That's my take on it.
I like that, but it just seems as though recently the policies that they have been making has not been particularly favorable to
Not
other.
at all.
Yes, and it seems because for the US, that just reminds me that, you know, it's Donald Trump's mantra that it's Americans first. Anyways, we're going to sit back and watch as this particular situation unfolds. If they are going to call Wole Soyinka, if the government is going to intervene, we'll look at that as it all progresses. We have to touch down to Anambra State, where something really exciting is happening before the November 8th election. So even here in the studio, we interviewed Chioma Ifemeludike, and we talked about her gubernatorial ambitions in Anambra State, coming under the AACA party, spearheaded by Omoyele Sowore. We had that discussion, and we also had the gubernatorial debate, which she was present for. Now, online on X, she came out to make her campaign photos available. And that particular campaign photo has cost a lot. We're talking understand the context where all of these comments are coming from. Now, Son of Man says, we have seen what a professor, that's Soludo, can do. Even seen what a trader, referencing Mr. Peter B, can do. Now it's time for us to see what a hot body can do. Oh, Jesus. Son of Man. Are you really the Son of Man? Rao said, how do we expect the older generation to take us serious or relinquish power if we take sensitive matters like a gubernatorial election with so much triviality? This is just disgraceful. First, I'm going to ask, we've seen the comment section, Mr. Ugu. Do you think the same with what Nigerians, majority of Nigerians are saying, or do you have a different stance on the matter?
Okay, so before I talk about the matter we have here, I wish to state that the pictures she released, first I need to correct that it's not her official campaign pictures. It's something she posted on her X handle, on her profile. And I also wish to state that I'm not here on any official capacity. Yeah, I am speaking from my personal view, what I think about it. And actually, I'm not surprised by the unleashing of these backward ideas. Yeah, because it just proves one thing. The role patriarchy still plays in our society today. Because why these backward comments on her pictures? Instead of looking at the bigger picture, her policies, her good plans, structured plans for Anambra, I think this is what we should be focusing on instead of being distracted by the pictures she posted on her platform. You know? Yeah, I understand. So that's what I think. I'm not even surprised. It shows how backward our society still thinks. It's the 21st century, for God's sake. We should not be focused on her pictures, but rather the capacity she has and then her ability to solve the solution to the problems of Anambra State. Anambra.
But Mr. Ugo, now let's talk celebrity status here. Let's talk fame. We've seen some Nigerian celebrities transition into Nigerian politics. Well, from the likes of Kenneth Okonkwo to what's her name? The deputy governor she contested as the Funke Akindele for Lagos State. A host of them who are trying or have successfully transitioned into politics. We even have Desmond Elliott and the rest. Do you think that the celebrity status has a positive effect or influence in the Nigerian political atmosphere?
Well, for celebrities, I think that their entertainment background, I think it gives them a high visibility. That's one. And the question now is how they intend to use the already established visibility. That's the thing. And for Comrade Chioma Grace Ifemeludike, I have worked with her personally. I know that she does not just have the vision, but has the capacity and the intention to lead Anambra judiciously and with focus, discipline, and bring positive change in Anambra.
And this is what we should be looking at. But
Exactly.
you know Nigerians, right? It is really interesting if you look at it. You have come here to say now that those are not our official campaign photos, but when you look at the news houses, the news blogs, this is what they are saying.
That's another thing we need to address.
Photos.
Misinformation in our country today. These are things because bloggers and news outlets, they just release anything for clickbait. You see?
Okay, but you know, for that particular photo, you're saying that Nigerians should pay no mind to those photos, but instead pay attention to what she has in store for Nigerians, which I agree, and that's beautiful. But where is public image when you are rooting for the #1 seat in a state as Anambra State? Comparing that side by side, do you think that should go unnoticed?
Not necessarily. I'm not trying to say it should go unnoticed, but what I'm saying is based on the fact that how much people are focusing on it and then leaving behind the main thing. That is her plans. She has her manifesto. She has been engaging with people at the grassroots. You know,
yeah.
Even in the recent governorship debate, she plans to increase the minimum wage to 100,000 naira, and she has mentioned a structured plan to realize this promise. It's not just promises, it is something that is practicable for the Anambra. So yeah, I'm not trying to say you should overlook her personal life, but then before that comes her the role she has to play as a governorship candidate.
But do you think that we are at a point, because earlier this morning, Mr. Ogo, you were not in the studio, but I'll just brief you as quickly as possible. Earlier this morning, we talked about Senator Akpabio's statement when he had delegates from the European Union about underrepresentation of women in Nigerian politics and governance. And, you know, he mentioned that the reason why that is so is because women do not support women in governance, that women would rather vote for a male candidate as opposed to a female candidate, and that was what he stated as the major reason. Now I'm going to ask if that has been the case for the gubernatorial candidates of AAC in person of Chioma Dike, and if you can add more reasons why we have this underrepresentation of women in Nigerian government.
Okay, so sorry, before I answer your question, I wish to categorically say that Senator Akpabio, he does not have the moral justification to make such claims, because how they say that charity begins at home. He's the Senate president, and let's take a look at how he has been treating the females in the Senate. So I don't feel he has the moral justification to say anything about women in politics.
Wow.
Yeah, that is first. Okay. And then for Comrade Chioma Dike, well, I am Ugochukwu. I cannot speak for her, but then I know it's not been easy. It's been difficult. But then from what I've seen, the zeal and the passion, she is the person the people need. You understand? So I can't speak for her, but I know it's not been easy. But then she's taking the problems head on and creating solutions for them.
I like that you said that you can't speak on her behalf, and this is something that we are looking forward to more women in politics addressing as to why there is underrepresentation, of women in Nigerian politics. Anyways, before we wrap it up, all right, yeah, before we wrap it up, I'll let you say your piece, but before we wrap it up on this particular story, I'm just saying, moving forward, right, for young women now, for young women who want to be more involved in politics, where do you think they should start from? And is it something that is achievable in this generation of ours?
Well, as the society may have it now, it is not, I won't say it's not achievable, but yes, it is very, very difficult. It will be difficult, and that is because of the way we think in our society, in Nigeria generally. You know, when women come out, you talk, you say different things about them, sexist statements patriarchy is still affecting us
Embedded
today.
in our system.
Yeah, so I think that's something we'll have to get over first, and we have to encourage women. We talk about equality every day. What then is equality? Women have to also have equal representation, not just in politics, but then in governance as well.
Exactly. And for women, young ladies looking up to entering into the Nigerian politics, where do you think they can even start from?
Well, that depends where she is coming from. I mean, the woman, wherever she's coming from. When you look at the position you are now and what you wish to achieve, you know what you are able to do and where you can start. So I can't say there is a particular place they should start. When you feel you have the passion, you have the capacity to run for governor, you should go for it.
I like that. When you have the passion and the capacity, you should do what you want to do. Now, that is where we're going to call it a wrap on that particular story as we move on to the final story for this evening. So this is really trending right now. It is the Wike's Dubai delegation controversy, I would like to call it that. So Wike went to Dubai for an official event, and for that event it was sponsored by public funds, and he's supposed to go with delegation, but when you look at that crew, you can see him alongside others, but there are rather interesting delegates that we have on that entourage of Nyesom Wike. We have his two sons. Now, his two sons went with him all the way to Dubai, and Nigerians are not having it, especially on X. And I'm just going to read a few of their comments that we can take so that I can take your opinion, Mr. Ugo. Oh, this person has a rather interesting username. Wahala on X says they take their children to important spaces while their low-life supporters do bigotry online for less than $10 per month. Wow. Udochukwu Azuike says he's positioning his children. Don't be surprised if one of them makes it to Rivers State House of Assembly in 2027. Oh, wow. The other day we saw one of his sons being called to ban the ceremony, and how happy Wike was. In 2027, seeing them in politics, that'll be interesting. Aldo Abubakar says it used to be the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, until APC came on board and changed the existing principles to the government of the family, by the family, and for the family. Caesar Nate 02 says, it's just simple accountability we ask. What is their role? Is it part of their PPA? Come on. Is it part of their PPA? Is it taxpayers or personal money that is sponsoring both sons, or is it part of the benefits of being a public service holder? Accountability. Finally, Dr. No says Nigeria is a comedy show. These politicians and their aides have zero regard for Nigerians. They feel so invincible, like nothing can ever happen to them. Oh well, make we dey watch. And that is the stance. Make we really dey watch. What is going on? And I'm starting with you, Mr. Udo. Before now we've talked about the threat of political dynasty in Nigeria, where politicians are trying to rope in family members into political business as regards Nigeria. But what do you have to say about this rather interesting choice of delegates of the Federal Capital Territory Minister, Nyesom Wike?
Okay, for this particular trip, without bias, I would say it is not particularly improper. It's not particularly or automatically improper for him to take his children. But then what's the question there is that what was the process of selection and to avoid perception of nepotism. Yeah, it is not automatically improper for his children to be to be a delegate. So that's without bias. But then beyond the whole thing lies how were they selected? What was the process? Maybe
by blood, blood group. Continue.
Well, there was an interesting tweet you read from an ex-user which says that it used to be a democracy of the people, for the people, and by the people.
Yes.
And I cannot agree anymore with the person. Now it's looking like a democracy of the family.
Yes, it is looking like
because
a democracy of the family. And, you know, when we have things like this, it is very worrisome. We should worry about things like this. We are very clear-cut on the type of governance that we practice in Nigeria. And the last I checked, it wasn't monarchy, it's democracy. And things like this are very worrisome, especially what we see with what is going on in Cameroon, where you see a man ruling for 40 years and he just won another election. So I don't know how long he's going to be there. So when you see things like this happening all over African nations, and it's mostly Africa, it's just really interesting, and it's very, very sensitive, and it's something to pay close attention to. So that is why I'm asking this question. If this to you said it's not really improper, so I'm asking, I already feel like I have an idea of what your answer will be, but I'll ask regardless. Do you think this has crossed a line between family and public office?
Well, without accountability, it has. By all means, it has. Without accountability, when we don't know the process of selection, it erodes public trust.
Yeah, I like that you said that.
I feel the one thing the government can do for us is to be accountable. That's the least we can ask for. Let them at least be accountable. And it could be a threat to democracy itself. This trend of having a political dynasty, and where your family, in fact, the government is being occupied by your family members. No, it's a threat to democracy, because, like you rightly said, it's not we're not practicing a monarchical system of government, but rather democracy. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. Thank you for making that clear. But now we've seen what is happening now. Do you think that, you know, we saw this on social media, on X, you know, particularly, and it blew up? Do we think that social media is going to be a tool that the civil society, the Nigerians, can use as a tool for accountability from these politicians?
As it is now, I would say that anything that Nigerians can leverage on to hold the people in power accountable, they should do it, and do it very well. If it's through social media, if that's all, because there are supposed to be channels where we ask questions to these,
ask questions.
But then I don't know how functional they are in Nigeria.
Yes.
So if the only medium now is social media, then I think by all means we should hold it well and hold these people accountable.
I like that.
I believe that the trip was founded with taxpayers' money.
Yes, exactly. It was funded with public funds, and you know, there is just, when you do things with taxpayers' money, you rub it in their faces. It is really.
We've also had this Tinubu-led administration saying no Nigerian is more Nigerian than the other. Yeah. So if no Nigerian is truly more Nigerian than the other, why then do we have the Wike family all in the trip?
You know, that's an interesting conversation, and it's something that I would love us to have, even with more time. The Wike family saga in Nigeria. They are a really interesting family. I don't know if you can agree with me on that.
Completely.
The Wike family is really interesting. But just finally on this particular story, as we move forward now, I'm asking, is this something that we see Nigerians cutting at the nip? Or is this something that might escalate and become what we fear the most, political dynasty?
I pray it doesn't get to that stage. But then, in as much as things are not going so well now, I still
on Active Citizens Parliament. What a wonderful conversation. To our viewers who always stick with us, thank you so much for doing this as well. If you're yet to always stick with us, thank you so much for doing this as well. If you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, come on, what are you?